All right, you guys. So in this video, we are going to give you a tour because we have finally really finished the renovation of the RV.
We're going to show you what this really costs. A lot of you are asking, how much did this end up costing you? Did you guys lose out on this deal? Are you in the negative? We're gonna also show you some of our biggest hurdles.
Rotted so much. Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Give you some tips and tricks on if you're looking to buy an RV, you know, what did we learn when it came to buying this RV and where did we make some mistakes?
There's actually one really huge regret that we have in this whole process with purchasing this RV, the renovation, the whole 9 yards. And so we're also going to tell you what that one huge regret is. Also tell you how to avoid that and how we could have avoided it. We didn't, so that's hence part of the reason of the regret. So that's what's on tap. Let's jump in.
So we've got basically 3 different areas that we're gonna go ahead and cover in this video. One is the inside, the outside, and of course, some of the plumbing and mechanical things.
It's definitely a lot. So let's go ahead and let's get started with the first thing on the outside, which is back here. So follow me. It doesn't look that bad.
Right.
So the first thing that we did is we removed the outside kitchen. This was, I guess, what you call an outside kitchen. There was like a TV up here. And so we removed all of that,
And
which leads into one of our biggest hurdles, but we're going to get to that when we get to the inside because that kind of has to do more with the inside than the actual outside kitchen. We don't know what we want to do here yet.
It went through a weight loss program. We got rid of the big metal grill holder that was here.
For us, it felt like a lot of unnecessary stuff that was in here. So anyway, so that all came out.
We wanted to be able to fit the Ninja wood fire in here.
We've got some things here. So you guys are going to have to let us know. Obviously, this is nowhere near like what we would, you know, finish. So let us know what you would do with this. Like the TV was mounted to here. There's so much storage, I feel like, that one could do here. But then the other kind of hurdle in this is obviously like you see how tall we are and then how tall that space is. So if you use that, you're going to have
Step ladder
or something. So let us know what you would do with this space. We love hearing your suggestions. So leave those below in the comments.
So next, we replaced 2 of the 4 tires. So as you saw, when this thing rolled in, we had mismatched tires, mismatched rims. We had a spare tire on there, and the tire that was underneath the RV, he said was replaced and new, but when I pulled it down, the tire was dry rotted. So I couldn't use that. So what I did is I was able to find 2 matching sets. So I put basically 2 of the ones that were on the RV on the back, and then I put the 2 new ones on the front. So that way it was matching on the axles. So we could drive down the road knowing that we were somewhat safe. It probably isn't the most ideal setup. I should have replaced probably all 4, but this was good enough. The other 2 are new. Next, what we did is we inspected and re-greased the wheel bearings. I know I should have probably taken off the drums and removed the wheel bearings and repack them. I do have a repacker now. I will plan on doing that, but what I did is I used the grease Zerk to re-grease it. It used a ton of grease, but I feel it did a really good job. There's no grease behind the drum or anything, so the seals were good. And beyond that, what we found out as we were going down the road, only 1 set of the drum brakes were working. What we found out is the actual wires to the rear set were completely disconnected.
Found the other wire up in there, so I'm just gonna reconnect this, and I'm hoping that affects both of them.
I ended up rewiring those up, recalibrated the brake gain and everything, and now the trailer stops with the truck. You don't feel it like pushing the truck like it was before. So those are a couple items that we did also on the outside. Okay, next thing I installed was this ammo box on the back of the bumper. So I took 2 of these U-bolts and I drilled a couple holes in this. The ammo box that I got from Harbor Freight. Thanks to one of the viewers, they did recommend that I put the bolts in this way so you don't end up, you know, cutting yourself on this. So thanks for that, by the way. I really love that you guys let us know in the comments all the little tips and tricks in your experience as well. So I appreciate it. Basically, in a nutshell, what I can do is put a few of my black tank accessories in here. So I've got the little Camco sewer deal that you can clamp off a Y fitting, and then an elbow. So all of those do fit in there, and shuts and clamps. So that way I have one place where everything is. Oh, speaking of which, this is just a little bumper cover that is bolted on and clamped to the bumper itself, and it has a little carabiner that clips it on, so you don't ever have to worry about the sewer hose coming out. So I fit 2 Rhino sewer hoses in here clamped together, so I was able to push that in really good, and then take this clip and clip it right on. Love, love, love this little accessory. And in case you're like me and need a few different hoses, more than 2, I did install one of these Valterra sewer hose holders as well. That fits 2 additional hoses on the RV, and everything black tank, gray tank related is in the back here. So I just unclip it, turn it, and pop it off. There you go. Lock it in place, put on one of these little clips so it doesn't come off going down the road.
All right, so the last thing that we did on the outside was replacing the roof, which was really, really bad. So actually we've got a whole video because it was much worse than we thought. We actually realized once that the rubber came off the roof, why that this RV had a salvage title to begin with. So you can watch more about that right up here, but regardless to say, that is all done, which is great. A lot of you guys, as we were going through this renovation, were kind of like, oh, you should do the roof first. Yes and no. So in our scenario, we didn't do the roof before we started the interior because RV Roof just couldn't get us in for several months. They stay way booked up because they do such an amazing job. So it's very, very popular to get your roof done there. So what we did do is we did essentially do like damage control where Ben got up there. We basically made sure that we didn't have any like active leaks so we could work on the interior knowing we weren't going to get any water intrusion, but it wasn't a permanent fix. So now it is good to go for life. Lifetime warranty. And then while they were up there, they installed the 2 Max fans. That is huge. We did that in our Class A. One of the first things we wanted to do in this, we would highly recommend that as part of any RV renovation or upgrades. Now, a lot of you guys asked too on the roof cost. Remember, I'm going to tell you what the whole thing costs just a little bit later in the video. All right, let's hop inside. All right, so we're going to start here in the mid-bunk room. But before we get to too much in here, I do want to say the first thing that we did in the renovation was we literally had to remove all of the super, super nasty carpet. It was completely urine soaked, like animal urine soaked, and the smell inside of the RV was so bad to even try to do anything else that was the first thing that we had to do is just literally rip out all of the nastiness carpet.
Get a nice little spray going on here just to initial.
It's like a mixture of pet smell and pine sol all in one.
I wish we had smell-o-vision here. You guys could smell this.
I just love that.
All right, that's enough for now.
The next upgrade slash thing that we did in our Class A as well, and if we ever own another RV in the future, we will do right away too, and that is to change out the mattresses. So we've got a RV mattress here in the mid-bunk room for our son Dakota. We have an RV mattress in the master bedroom. We absolutely love the mattresses from RV Mattress because, one, they come rolled up in a box. So they are very easy to get in and out of an RV door, up and down an RV hallway, just maneuver around to install in an RV. 2, they come with a 120-night sleep trial. So you've got a chance to check it out, sleep on it for a little while, literally sleep on it. Make sure that it's to your liking. Now we have the Aurora Luxe Hybrid. We've got the Dream Foam Essential in here for Dakota. So lots of different options to choose from, different firmnesses to choose from, so you can check it out and make sure that you like it. And then they have a limited lifetime warranty now. So we know, like with these mattresses, we're literally set for life on these things, and then they ship really fast and also free from their factory in Arizona. So RV Mattress is a partner and a sponsor of our channel and our videos, so 30% off with our link, and you can find that below or on the screen here as well. And we do just want to say a huge thanks to RV Mattress for their continued support of our channel as well. Now, the other thing that we did, this is a mid-bunk room. From the factory, this has like 2 bunks. So there was like a bunk across here and then the bottom bunk. So we decided to remove this bunk here to just give Dakota some more kind of headspace and stuff like that in this room, versus some people were like, well, what about if you remove the bottom bunk and stuff, which, you guys, our child is no longer much of a child. He's more of like a man cub child, and he is 6 foot. So this just kind of works better as far as like the headroom and the space and things like that that he needs. Now, we do still need to come up with a solution, because this here, you can see it's not really supported. It's sticking out over the end of the actual platform. You guys were great in leaving us suggestions, and so we're still looking at exactly what we want to do. It just hasn't been as high on the priority list as some of the other things that we've had going on. So that is still on the list. And then this, if you want to really get a good idea of what it looks like before, feast your eyes on everything here. The slide trim, the cabinets, the walls. I mean, this is how pretty much the whole entire RV looked before. We'll also give you some flashback kind of stuff.
Definitely will save a lot of weight by taking this.
So we're looking at the middle bunk.
We're gonna take this top part out and then leave the bottom so we have the drawers.
That leads us into kind of our whole front living space. So let's go take a look inside of there. The biggest hurdle we faced in this whole RV renovation was this slide right behind me here. So I have to laugh looking back on it, because it's one of those things you either laugh or you just like cry.
No! God, please, no! No!
After Ben removed the outside kitchen, we made a really, really bad realization.
Oh geez, and that floor is confirmed not good. Not good, folks. Oh God. All right, I'm just gonna do what any smart RVer would do and utilize my RV ingenuity.
This is like a big daddy fix.
Yep.
Like
Put
there.
a tarp over it.
That ensued like the domino effect of things that needed to be done. So we knew that the slide floor then was obviously rotted.
Oh, nasty. This is, let me see how flexible. This is rotted so much. Jeez.
This whole structure here that you see, like basically all these walls and stuff, we had to remove this whole thing and park it in the living room. And then what we ended up doing here was we replaced 2 of the 3 slide walls. So we replaced this whole entire wall because it was rotted. We replaced this back wall. We also replaced this light fixture here. So really like this light fixture. And then we actually, I guess you could say there's technically 3 walls, maybe 4, because there's kind of like this wall on the structure here. So we actually replaced that too. And then we retrimmed the whole thing out. So all of like this corner trim and then this trim in here. So all of that was replaced, as well as the slide floor. So that was definitely our biggest hurdle in this whole particular project. And then we put the rollout sheet vinyl on the floor. We were really, really fortunate to find rollout sheet vinyl that was almost a dead match for the factory floors that were there. Now we ended up deciding, and we are still like flushing this out. Here's the thing that I think that we have realized. We have done this RV life thing now for 7-ish years. Some of those years being full-time, some of those years being part-time. And I think the one thing that if you have done this for any length of time that you learn, and if you've not done it for any length of time, let me just be the first to tell you that a lot of things can be trial and error. So we put kind of just like a makeshift table in here our first trip out. We really didn't like the way that was working for us. So what we decided was, because we got a new couch, a couple new couches, I'll show you here in a minute. We put the couch that the people left here. And then what we decided we're gonna do for like meals and stuff is we'll just use some sort of like TV tray or lap tray or something like that to put our meals on. If we're not eating outside, we actually like to eat outside when we can. So the other thing we did is all of the nasty slide trim we pulled down. Now, some of you guys have let us know in the comments that y'all don't like the way this looks. And we like it, but we are taking your comments like, you know, like we're looking at what you've said. We may eventually pull this down, kind of maybe give it some sort of like a whitewash and then put it back up. So let us know what you think. Some of you guys have already let us know, but you know, let us know what you think about this particular slide trim here. So all of the trim on all of the slides now has been replaced with the exception of the mid-bunk room where Dakota sleeps. Now, the other thing that we did is we painted pretty much all of the cabinets. So this is a paint from Beyond Paint. I've used this before to refinish like some furniture items that I found on Facebook Marketplace. What I like about this is truly an all-in-one product. I love Beyond Paint because I literally feel like it is the cheater's paint. Like it is not hard to work with. It's so easy to work with. It's an all-in-one paint plus primer. You can get a sealer. So I actually use the sealer on some of the cabinets that are like in the bathroom area where there might be more humidity. Absolutely love this paint. So we did all of that on pretty much all of the cabinets. And then over here, we did peel and stick wallpaper. Now you guys, there was a big hole in the wall here when we first got this RV. Yes, there was. Look at this, guys. How grand is this? So that'll be repaired. We actually got a like wall patched that up, and then just covered it with this beautiful peel and stick wallpaper. Now, here's the thing I've heard and I've read in a lot of like the Facebook groups over and over, that people don't like to do peel and wall stick paper.
What?
Peel and stick wallpaper.
Say that 5 times.
Right. I was like, I created my own new word, peel and stick wall. I don't know. Because they say in an RV and you get humidity, blah, 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 it starts to peel back. I've not really had that happen too much. I did have that happen on one little corner in our Class A. It's really easy to kind of just fix with some spray adhesive. But what we did here is we actually used a trim piece along the top of like where it meets the ceiling, just to kind of like tack it against the wall, right? So that way it's not going to peel back. And then same with along where it meets the floor. So there's trim that goes along where it meets the floor. And then also along the door. Yep. So you're not going to have any peeling issues if you've taken where those corners meet and where like the edge of the wallpaper meets like the floor and the ceiling. And you've essentially tacked up a trim piece to hold it in place, which is pretty much what we did there. All right, so this is the rear bunk room area. So we have 2 of the Thomas Paine furniture couches that we put in here. So, oh my goodness, you guys. Again, this was one of those things where you just are gonna laugh about it and looking back at it, or you're going to cry and pull your hair out.
It's bad. It's real bad.
This area was such a flipping wreck when we first got this RV. Like the filthiest of filthy, nasty, and a old broken down couch that was 100% not even usable for anything any longer. So we went with the Thomas Paine click back sofa. So this turns into a sleeping space. And then here is the thing, is that this particular sleeping space, it's great. It's not like the most comfortable in the world just as it sits, and then that is where this comes in. So this is a foam mattress topper from RV Mattress, and then I just trimmed it to fit the exact dimensions of this particular sofa sleeper. Now, when this comes out, it is fairly large. It's one of the largest surface areas, click back sofa sleepers that you can get on the market. So plenty of space for Trinity to sleep on, and then it folds up when you're not using it during the day. And then we've got the topper there, and then painted all of these cabinets. I've got an idea, so y'all let me know. So I didn't do anything with this glass here, right? This glass I covered with the peel and stick wallpaper, but I had a thought of because we have some of the leftover beadboard wall, if I took this glass out and put the white beadboard in its place. You guys will have to let me know. What do you think on that? Like yay or nay? Oh, the other thing, so Ben painted all of this. So here's my hack. Ben, don't listen. Cover your ears.
Earmuffs.
Earmuffs, Ben. So I was painting this, and I'm not gonna lie, I was struggling painting it. Like the paint, for whatever reason, wasn't rolling on the way I wanted it. So I was kind of sort of pseudo complaining to Ben. Like, this isn't working and I can't get it to work, and you know, just kind of sort of complaining. And so he's like, oh, here, give me the thing. Let me see, you know, like see if it's really as bad as I was complaining. And he's like, this isn't that bad. So then I just sort of like, oh, you're doing a great job. I'll just move on over here. And so that's how, ladies, get your hubbies to finish the job for you so you can get out of it. So don't tell Ben I said that. Okay, thanks.
I will never say a word. And now we are even.
Moving right along, painted these cabinets. This is where I used the peel and stick wallpaper over the glass on these instead. This like dresser area, I painted this also with the Beyond Paint here too. So there's so much storage in this RV, you guys. I think if we fully loaded this, we would be overloaded. Speaking of which, we'll have a video to come soon on the whole weight thing and how that is going, because we do want to make sure, obviously, that we're not, you know, over the capacity, because that could be a little unsafe. We don't want to do anything there. Anyway, in this area, this is one of the reasons we chose this floor plan, is because 2 full bathrooms. Our teenagers were just struggling sharing bathrooms with each other. So full bath, we have a full shower here. This is much better. I think she's going to be much happier with this. Ben was like, I want all the solar real estate, so let's just take out the skylights, shall we? So now there's no skylight in here. We did, y'all, since
They were able to literally remove the skylight and board over it. So now, look at this. Look at this, guys. I've got a whole area right here. I can put a solar panel on.
we did come up with a solution here. So this is what is called FRP board. This is like what they use in commercial kitchens or like paneling in commercial bathrooms. It's like waterproof and everything. We just put this where there was essentially a hole in the ceiling because we took the skylights out to give more space on the roof for solar or anything else that we decide to put up there. One thing I did here, got the Maxxer fan there. I did put this like it's like a, you know, towel rack thing, right? And then I just put this across here so on a travel day, nothing falls out. The one reason I really like this setup, and I'll put a link in the description below, is because of this. So like if you do set, not if, when you set things here, they're secured on a travel day. The one thing from an organizational perspective that I have learned is that you have to think about the fact that when you go to move your RV, like stuff's gonna fall if it's not secured. So I always like to think about, like when I do something from an organizational perspective, is that it has to make sure that when things move, not everything falls down and out of the holder, shelf, whatever. So I'm gonna show you a few things that I did in the kitchen organizational wise. I will tell you when we go to talk about the costs a little bit later in this video, I am not including things like buying rugs or getting any of the organizational stuff that I'm going to show you here. When we talk about our costs on this renovation, it is for the renovation. So things like the lumber, things like the peel and stick wallpaper, the flooring, like all of those costs. We're not talking about costs for kind of like, you know, the extra little things like, you know, shelving or anything like that. We did replace this trim here. So yes, that is included in our actual renovation costs when we talk about that. It had like this brown color trim along where the wall and the ceiling meet. And once that we started brightening things up, once we started painting cabinetry and everything else, it really did look mismatched. So we did replace all of that. We also replaced it in the bedroom. So I'll show you that here in a few minutes. Now, this was kind of a cool find. I found this cutting board at IKEA. This seems like it would be just about the right size.
Oh yeah, try it.
I'm kind of willing to take a whisk on this. I think there was a stove cover here maybe at one point that had been removed because there's like these little hingey things here that then would like indicate that they were attached to something. But when we got the RV, the stove, well, actually, no, the stove was not like this because you know what? It was 10 times dirtier than this. But anyway, I needed something and this was at IKEA and it was like the freaking perfect fit. So that was a wonderful thing. Painted this cabinetry here, painted, well, the doors, put the peel and stick over this here. And then I decided to leave the island as is. So this kind of, you know, color here in the island. Part of the reason that I decided to leave it as is one, I kind of like the contrast that's provided just with like the gray cabinets here and then the kind of the darker color here too. Is this, and the lower island too, is almost like a beadboard style. And I was concerned because I did not spray any of the paint. I rolled it all on. I was concerned about my ability to be able to get this to look right, not using a paint sprayer. So pretty much decided to just kind of leave that alone. Now, here in the kitchen cabinets, what I did is I added these shelves, and I do go over this more in a video that we did 3-4 weeks ago. So I will leave that video right up here if you want to take a look at that and see more about this. But literally this like doubled my space. So versus having just one big cavernous compartment, I've got an extra shelf here for that. And then for this in here, where I've got same kind of thing here, where I've got organizing types of shelves and things like that give me much more space than what was there before. And since we're talking about organization, this is a little bonus. I didn't have this on my list to tell y'all, but I'm feeling generous today. So here, you guys get a little bonus. So come right around here. These drawers in here were very large and deep, and I was struggling with how to organize this. So I found these square containers on Amazon. I'll put a link below. And I love it because then I can put things where it's coming upright, right? Like I'm not laying things flat in the drawer and then I have all this wasted space. So I actually even have, you can see I've got extra space in here I could use to be able to put extra things or whatever I need in those drawers there. I'm using them right here too to just create extra space without just laying it flat in the drawer and then having this much space above that is literally wasted and unused. Okay, let's take you back into the back bathroom and the back bedroom, and then we will tell you about our costs and our biggest regret, because we do have a pretty big regret in all of this. So let's go. All right. So master bathroom. That was loud. I don't know why I clapped. It was just really
You're happy.
weird. I don't know if you're happy and you're not. Okay. Anyway, the bathroom. There was a glass shower enclosure here, right? And so there were like 2 half circle kind of, well, there's 4 because of how it went. Anyway, there were doors that closed like this, right? You know how hard it would be to keep that stuff clean? I had a hard enough time keeping the glass shower enclosure in our class.
Closure.
I need caffeine. I had a hard enough time keeping the glass shower enclosure in our class A clean. That's a lot. Shower enclosure clean in our class A. Good thing we didn't have a class C. That'd be a lot of C's. So Ben had a really good idea, and that was to take it out and hang a shower curtain. But then our biggest thought was, okay, like we know you can get those curved shower curtain things, but this is a pretty big curve. Ben's like, well, what if we just left this here and we got like larger hooks and we use this as a shower curtain rod? And so it did work out. Ben found these little kind of oblong hooks on Amazon. They roll along this just fine, and it is going to be a lot easier to keep this clean. The other thing that we did in here is we replaced the shower head with our Oxygenics. Actually, this is the Oxygenic shower head that we took out of our class A because we put a different one in that, of course, we left when we sold it. We had this laying around, so we're like, might as well just throw that in here for now. We closed off where the big hole in the ceiling was left from the skylight that was removed was just this FRP board. And then these little wire baskets. I love these. So they're adhesive. You can see the previous owners had put some of these like little adhesive hook things on. This is what these are held up with. And they have not fallen yet. We've had this in here now for several months. Not fallen yet. You can see I got a lot of things like put in there. So I'm hopeful that they will stand the test of time. Thanks to one of our viewers that said to take out the bottom part too, because we took out as far as like the track that the doors were on. This is similar to what I did in the rear bathroom as far as the towel holder here, but instead of mounting this underneath, because Ben, his first thing was like, if I sit on the toilet, I can't have my head hit anything. So I had to mount this on the side, which again, it works fine. So we've got our towels that are here, the Max Air fan that's here, and then this is our cushion. Now, if it's winter, y'all are camping this winter, this works amazing with keeping out the cold air. If you're camping in the summer, this works amazing with blocking out the heat. These vent pillows from Camco, we love. That's kind of loud, isn't it? I forgot I had these S hooks and I found them when I was going through some organizing things. I threw these up here for now because I'm thinking / wondering when we go to hang our towels to dry, obviously I don't want to hang a towel to dry above the toilet. I've seen where some people in these compact bathrooms will put hooks here and then they're hanging their towels behind the toilet.
Disaster waiting to happen.
I'm just saying, with a teenage boy who doesn't always pay attention to things, I don't want my clean towel hanging up behind the toilet. So
you know he'd probably drop it and be like, oh, whoops, and then hang it right back up. And you wouldn't even know.
So I did hang these here, thinking if we want to hang our towels to dry there, that would work. I also added a command hook here for the same purpose. And then also like our bath mat, right? So when you're done using your bath mat and maybe it's a little damp, you want to hang it to dry. You don't want it on the floor. You have got that there too. These are the ones that have the adhesive hooks. I found this little toothbrush holder on Amazon. So this is mounted with the adhesive hooks. Now this, because like you can see this, you could set this on a countertop if you wanted to, and then still put this on the countertop to just hold it in place, like for a travel day. I wanted it up off of the counter because I like to keep the counters as free as possible. Found that on Amazon, and then that is what I did there. And then of course painted the upper and lower cabinets with the Beyond Paint, the Nantucket color. So that's what I did there. Now, I do want to talk real fast since we're in the bathroom. I'm loving these two new products from our friends over at Unique Camping and Marine. So they have now made their RV Digest It Plus, which is the tank treatment that we have been using now for the last almost 3 years, that we love because it keeps our black tank problem-free, sensors reading good, all of that. But they've made it now into a stick pack. So no more messy liquids, no more pods, wondering did they break open or did they not. You just have your powder packet here, cut this open, throw it in your toilet, flush the tank, make sure that you've got water there. And then also their Scrub It. So this is their toilet cleaner. Here's the thing, you guys, bleach is not your friend when it comes to RV black tanks. Do not clean your toilet with bleach, any sort of antibacterial. You actually want bacteria in your black tank. That's part of what helps break all of the things down into more liquid form. So when you go to flush your black tank and empty your black tank, it all comes out. So this is completely RV black tank safe toilet cleaner that does a great job cleaning your toilet. And this is the Wild Thyme fragranced, so it smells nice and pretty too. So absolutely love these two new products from our friends over at Unique. We have partnered with them for a discount. So gratefulglamper.com/unique. Have information in the description below for that as well. All right, let's move into the bedroom. All right, so one thing that we had to do here is there was obviously some sort of probably like sliding door that went here to close off the bathroom from the bedroom. It was not here when we bought this RV. And here's the deal, we didn't even really notice that. Like when we bought it, it wasn't until after we got it home, we started going through everything. We're like, oh, there's no door here. We originally were going to just like, hang a curtain. We did hang a curtain, but I thought, okay, if we just get like a tension rod. So we did get like a shower curtain rod. But here's the deal, y'all. When an RV moves and flexes, when you're trying to use a tension rod, it is not going to stay. So we ended up using a couple zip ties to hold this up, drilled to the track. Now we have a nice curtain. The other thing is that we have to make sure whatever is here. So like if the door was here from the factory, it would have had some sort of way to secure it back, because this whole slide wardrobe thing is a slide. So this moves in when you go to have a travel day. So this has to be able to either move or be moved. So it's like if we leave it out and the slide comes in, it can just move. Okay, use some more peel and stick wallpaper on these. These were mirrored closet doors. So put the peel and stick wallpaper on that. And then we have kind of like our little closety thing. You guys, this is one of my favorite things. These are a magnetic sconce light. So you tap this button and you can adjust the brightness. You can also adjust to like if it's more of like a yellow light or a white light, but this is just magnetic. So since there's no light in here, I definitely wanted a light. So threw that in there. Love these things. Get them on Amazon. I have them in multiple places in the RV now just because I need to be able to see in cabinets, especially. So got that there, painted all of this, painted these drawers, left one mirror because it is nice having, more of a full length mirror somewhere. Also, we ran into this in our other class A where we took out a lot of the mirrors. Like we had mirrored closet doors, we painted over those. And then when it came time to, put on makeup or do hair, my daughter and I were competing for mirror space. So I was like, well, I should probably leave at least one. So I left that one there and then painted around the glass essentially in those here. Now, so we put peel and stick wallpaper here and again, kind of did the same thing. So we have this trim that is here to kind of secure it, as well as the trim that is on the wall over there to help keep that secure. Then replace all of this trim here. So we've got just, it's aesthetically pleasing, y'all. It goes along nice.
Thanks to all y'all who suggested that. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes, you guys are awesome. And then, of course, our RV mattress. Some of you guys have asked if I made this chunky blanket. I really wish I could say that I did. But it actually also came from rvmattress.com. I do have some blankets that I crocheted for the kids, but this one was not me.
Oh, they don't make those anymore, though, do they?
Wish I could say it was. I don't know. You'll have to check on their website. I don't know. Here's something else that I did that I thought was fun. These are command shelf things. So these are up here with command hooks. I put these up here to be able to. What do we got? Dust in here.
Oh, I was sawing up wood to make
for the tray
under the bed.
We did do that.
Who's we?
You and the mouse in your pocket. I like having this just to put like my, Apple Watch or my phone or whatever at night. This is actually from Hobby Lobby. So, but this fits in here nice. And then this is peel and stick wallpaper. So I just put that over the top because it was brown. And of course, I didn't want it to look brown and icky. So, and then just a little bin that I have here. Still don't know for sure what I'm going to use it for, but it fits there just fine. Got all of that done. Now, I know you guys are really dying to know the costs. So am I. And I have it written down on my piece of paper, so let's go in the front room and I'll tell you what that is. Real fast before I get to the cost. Couple of things that we did have to do plumbing wise. So Ben did find some leaks around the master bath shower area that he had to fix, as well as we did put in an on-demand water heater. Now the cost that I'm going to give you does not include like the on-demand water heater. We feel like that's more of just like an upgrade, not the actual renovation itself. The other caveat I do want to make sure that I let you guys know is that there are some things that we do get at either no cost or reduced cost because of our sponsor relationship. So like Beyond Paint did send me the paint to use to be able to show you guys. So like I didn't have any hard costs in the actual paint itself, just my painting supplies, other things like that we are able to get at either discounted or for free. So our total costs, drumroll please, for everything. This is like Lowe's, Home Depot, the tires, the roof. We did have some out-of-pocket costs on the roof because it needed all new decking. So all of that, all said and done, is $5,432.09. So here's the deal. Do we regret purchasing this RV? Do we get it for minimal enough with all of the costs that we had to put into it?
The answer is no. The answer is no.
There's mixed thoughts, okay? So
it depends.
It depends. One, we do feel like we probably actually paid too much because there were things that we didn't know about. Our biggest regret was not hiring an RV inspector. We've talked about this in multiple videos before. Why didn't we hire an RV inspector? We got a little bit too carried away in the emotion. We got a little bit too carried away in the emotion of wanting to get an RV, of having sold our Class A RV.
Having no RV.
Having no RV. Feeling like that we were kind of, I don't want to say in a rush, because there was this RV that we were looking at, and then there was another one in the Panhandle that was about $10,000 more than what we paid for this one. So all of that being said, and I should back up, the one in the Panhandle was essentially perfect. The people had actually had the roof replaced because of it had storm damage. So everything that we knew about that, obviously being sight unseen, but what we were told by the people that owned it was that it was like move in ready. and this was nowhere near that. If you guys are thinking about purchasing an RV, even if you're thinking about purchasing a new RV, do yourself a favor. Don't get caught up in the emotion. Hire an actual certified RV inspector. Now, I'll put a link below. Our friends over at the National RV Training Academy train RV inspectors, certify RV inspectors. And because of the nature of RVing, this is kind of the cool thing, is that a lot of these inspectors or even RV technicians travel around. They're mobile. So this website that's in the link in the description below, you can go and you can see where an inspector is, where a technician is, because they're going to update their location. So there'll be a link in the description below where you can find somebody. So had we hired an inspector, an inspector would have found a lot of the things that we missed, like the rotted slide floor and the fact that the roof was much worse than what we originally thought by just looking at it. If you want to see more in depth about our biggest struggle with this whole slide, we actually have a whole entire video where we went more in depth on exactly how all of that came out, as far as how it came to be, and then also how it came to be about that we got the floor in and everything else, because that's a whole story in and of itself, and you can watch that story right up here.
Or see the whole series right down here. There. Yep.